With the Garlean's hearts at ease, the likelihood of others turning has greatly diminished. That said, it is no cause for us to grow complacent. We must needs find a way to overcome the blasphemy's protective warding. If I understand correctly, a blasphemy's behavior is oftentimes influenced by the memories and emotions of their originator. In which case, it would be prudent to learn more of the man who birthed this monstrosity. How fortuitous, then, that a number of soldiers from the FFXIV Legion are in our custody. For a mercy, their tempering was not so severe as to be beyond our ability to heal them. They are presently being treated at Camp Broken Glass. Perhaps the camp's intelligence officer can tell us who among them knows aught of Nerva's whereabouts.
I see. Perhaps it would be best if you speak with Virgilia, legatus of the FFXIV Legion. She's still on the mend, but the Chirurgians aren't like to oppose a brief conversation. If you would wait here a moment.
Eorzea's champion, I presume. And one of her cohorts. What business have you with me?
Ilsabard is faced with imminent crisis, and we believe the knowledge you bear may be key in stopping it. Thus do we believe the blasphemy to be Nerva. His whereabouts in the wake of Garlemald's fall, or lack thereof, give credence to our theory.
Lord Nerva.
From what we have pieced together thus far, you were one of the last to see him alive. Please, will you not share with us what you know?
Very well. Though I suspect what meager knowledge I possess shall avail you not. I last spoke with Lord Nerva shortly after the warring with the East Legion began. Cloistered within the lower levels of the Cenaculum Imperialis, he spent the better part of the day listening attentively to the radio. He seemed hopeful, or perhaps desperate, for news that the tide might turn in our favor. The next day, I left for the front line. It was there I heard a terrible noise, which I assume came from the Tower of Babel. Then darkness took me, and I remember not after that. I was told the radios protected those close to them from the effects of the tower, in which case, Lord Nerva would have remained unaffected. But he has ever been devoted to Garlemald. For glory, everlasting, he would say. to watch the empire he loved so dearly crumble. I can think of no one who would be more stricken by the sight.
It would seem we were right to assume what became of Nerva.
And it does not surprise me the beast would choose to make its nest within the Tower of Babel. It stands atop the remains of the imperial palace, and the throne he revered so highly. But the empire is no more, and Lord Nerva, apparently, is no longer the man he once was. He deserves to be laid to rest, together with his dreams of glory.
We will fell the beast. You have my word. Apologies for the interruption. Carney Senna has arrived, and we're ready to depart.
'Tis good to see you, K-Neko team. Master Fourchenault. I have spoken with Lawrence of the ward protecting the blasphemy, and I am quite confident some manner of ether-based magic bars our path.
If I may be so bold, Elder Seedseer, we reached the same conclusion initially, but that simply is not possible. These creatures born of the final days are devoid of ether. As such, they would be unable to produce such a barrier in a manner to which we are accustomed. Do you suppose it possible they manipulated Dynamis to achieve a similar effect?
I too thought to dismiss the notion of a barrier fueled by ether. That is, until I stepped foot here in Garlemald. Even now I can sense streams of ether flowing toward the tower. Its purpose was, after all, to harvest reserves of energy sufficient to reach the moon. Even if one was incapable of manipulating ether directly, it stands to reason control of the tower would alleviate such a need. 'Tis merely conjecture, of course. I cannot say for certain until I have examined the currents with mine own eyes. Might I ask you to accompany us?
I would join you as well, if I may. My injuries would keep me from being of use in battle, but my knowledge of the land should serve just as well as my blade.
I would not be opposed to your company, but it is not my decision to make.
She may go, so long as she remains under watch by you and the others.
Very good. Might I suggest we begin with Regio Urbanissima? I sensed the greatest confluence of ether in that vicinity.
It would seem I underestimated the resourcefulness of our adversary. I'm sure it's just my imagination, but I can't help but feel we're being watched again.
part of me does not wish to believe this blasphemy is Lord Nerva, that I failed to protect him. And yet,
I heard word that Aldine should be arriving before long. I can already picture him knocking his knees, muttering under his breath about the cold.
I will never understand how anyone could grow accustomed to such cold climes. As I thought. The ether stream here flows toward the tower, as do all others in this region, no doubt. This convergence first began when the Telephoroe erected spires in all corners of Eorzea to fuel the Tower of Babel. But once destroyed, this divergence of ether should have ceased.
All right, whoever you are. If ye be business with us, quit your skulking about in the shadows and speak your peace. Was you there in the tower, wasn't it?
My, you are sharper than you look.
I recognize you. Nero, yes? Why are you following us?
Who said I'm following you? Being a native of Garlemald, does it not stand to reason I might be inclined to come and see what has become of my home?
I know not what you're scheming, but we've no time to entertain your games. Perhaps Master Garland would make better company for you.
Spare me. I am a man of great ambition and greater intellect, far beyond the scope of anything Garlean could hope to achieve. He still keeps his head in the clouds, while I would set my sights to the stars beyond.
Which is why you snuck into the tower. But like us, you couldn't get past the blasphemy to reach the transporter.
Yes, well. I was very much hoping you would dispense with that little obstacle. And having caught wind of your plans, curiosity compelled me to see if you were truly up to the task.
Do you have reason to believe we are not? Or, perhaps, does the great genius Nero mean to dispense with the blasphemy himself?
Far be it from me to steal your glory having come all this way. But, as I am feeling generous, I will tell you what I learned during my time in the Tower of Babel. I was able to access its systems, you see, and discovered one of those dreadful spires still appears to be active.
Impossible. They all vanished when Anima was destroyed.
Yes, and I have heard of your escapades reclaiming the remains of the Emperor. But obviously you failed to reclaim his entire body. As it stands, a piece remains covering a tower at Fabrica.
Yes. The manufacturing district, just north of the erstwhile Imperial Palace.
A rather impressive feat, considering how these lands are so utterly devoid of aether. Barely enough to sustain life, let alone the spire.
But if one were to use Varist's remains to forcibly create a confluence of sorts.
Precisely. And from what I gleaned of the tower's systems, his heart serves as its core. Coursing not with blood but your precious aether, and now Nerva has amassed a surfeit to shore up his defenses. How fortuitous he should find so perfect an impetus for his design, stolen from better minds than his own. How very like him. Oh, did I say that aloud? You'll forgive me if I fail to show concern for your ire.
If what you say is true, these lands could never hope to recover from such a paucity of life energies. We must hurry and find Varist's heart, to both spare the land this wanton harvesting, and deny the blasphemy the source of its protection. Are we to presume you have any intention of aiding us?
As I said, I have no intention of stealing your glory. Though I fear victory may soon slip through your fingers if you do not act quickly. The Tower of Babel was designed specifically for Anima to serve as its core. Nerva forcing himself upon the system has caused it to grow increasingly unstable. If my calculations are correct, and they always are, it will not be long before his presence triggers the system meltdown. The resulting explosion will destroy whatever tenuous streams of aether breathe life into the lands of Garlemald. But more importantly, we will lose our only means of reaching the moon. The heavens forever denied my genius.
How so very unfortunate. In any event, 'twould seem time is of the essence.
That's all well and good, but even if we know which district to search, finding the heart'll be like looking for a needle in a bloody haystack.
Actually, I may know where we can start. It's all rather hazy, but I still have vague recollections of my time serving Anima when I was enthralled. We were commanded to erect some manner of facility tucked away in a corner of Fabrica. I remember not what it was for, but it's as good a place as any to begin our search.
Certainly sounds promising. But surely this facility will be heavily guarded.
Then maybe it'd be for the best to divide our forces. If it's just the four of us, shouldn't prove too difficult to sneak inside and find the heart. Meanwhile, our main force can stand ready to storm the Tower of Babel when the barrier gives out. This is Levailure. What? Very well. We shall return at once. A number of Garleans have left camp for the Tower of Babel. They have somehow misunderstood the threat of the tower, and convinced themselves that Nerva has taken refuge there. Still clinging to their ill-placed patriotism, no doubt. They could not have gone far. If we act quickly, perhaps they can be found before they come to harm.
A wise man would not waste his time on a few wayward refugees. I thought you Garlean scholars knew better.
To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, sir. If it is all the same to you, gain echo time, I would join you.
I will return to camp and begin preparations for our assault on the tower.
And I suppose I should go as well.
Though I am unarmed, I promise not to be a burden. That said, it would behoove us to avoid any undue confrontations if possible. Now, then. Let us be off.
Fourchenault is now accompanying you. Keep him at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Fourchenault behind by entering a different area, or by speaking with him and selecting the option to part ways. If you wish to have Fourchenault accompany you again, return and speak with him at the original location.
No trace of them here. Let us keep searching.
Help! Someone, please.
Did you hear that? It came from over there. They are understandably shaken, but otherwise appear to be unharmed. You're the ones who came to speak with us before. We heard Lord Nerva had returned, and was assembling his forces in the tower, but... No. Not Lord Nerva, too. Then there really is nothing left for us. I'll not deny your situation is dire, but you are not without a path forward. I believe you've the passion and conviction needed to rebuild Garlemald, if you so chose. Or, failing that, you could begin life anew in Garlean. Rebuild Garlemald. No, there is no point in entertaining so lofty a dream. And we would sooner die than suffer life under the rule of another. You would sooner seek death than sanctuary. Your resolve is admirable, but sorely misplaced. If you would not see Garlemald rise from the snow and ashes here in Ilsabat, might you consider venturing onto a new frontier? A new frontier? And where, exactly, is this land ripe for exploration? There. On the moon. It is our goal to create a repository of man's knowledge there, free from the jurisdiction of any nation. As I understand, the magitech and technological advancements of Garlemald were without peer. Your expertise would be indispensable in the endeavor. Should you be willing, of course. You really expect us to go and live on the bloody moon? Is such a thing even possible?
Have you a better alternative? Lest you forget, Garlemald did not rise to grandeur from complacency in the present or rumination in the past. We live for the future. It is in our blood. Life is not without its hardships, of course. Even I have met with the occasional stumbling block. But even should I stumble, my eyes are forever fixed skyward, seeking ever greater heights. The Empire may be lost, but I still possess a great deal of knowledge gained from it, and a desire to seek more. The very notion of exploring the moon is an unprecedented prospect, and that you would balk at the proposition boggles the mind. Consider this, you have heard that beasts of the final days were born of those hapless souls that had given up on everything. Yes. If that is indeed the case, can you tell me why you still stand before me? Because deep down you believe your life is yet worth living. Deep down, you long to reach for the unreachable. Or, perhaps you don't. If you should choose to lay down and die here in the snow, that is none of my concern.
Reach for the unreachable. That sounds like something I would have said back at the academy. Alright, we'll go. I suppose it's better than dying here in the snow, as you so grimly put it. Then we must first dispense with the blasphemy that commands the tower. It's hard to believe Lord Nerva, of all people, could be turned into one of those monsters. Please, you must stop him. Put his soul to rest. Thank you, and sorry for causing all this trouble. Thank you for the rousing call to action, but I thought you had no interest in meddling in our affairs.
Lest you misunderstand, I abhor the idea of my countrymen blindly following nobles they know next to nothing about. Besides, it would be a most piteous sight for not a single Garlean to be among those venturing to the moon. Who else am I to prevail upon to learn of new findings up there?